All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about something that honestly affects pretty much all of us, and it hides in plain sight. It's the cost of your comfort. And this isn't just about feeling cozy, okay? It's about a hidden danger, and the subtitle says it all: why being fine is killing your future. I know it sounds a little intense, but we're going to break down exactly what that means and why it is so urgent. So, this is the big idea right here. Being fine is a slow death sentence. We think of fine as, acceptable, it's safe. But what if that safety is really just stagnation in disguise? We get hooked, addicted to comfort, and that addiction is the very thing that keeps us from becoming who we're truly meant to be. And that leads us right into our first section, the slow death of fine and the hidden dangers that are lurking inside your comfort zone. We're going to stop treating fine as just a passing feeling and start looking at it like a chronic condition that needs a serious diagnosis. And believe it or not, there's a scientific name for this addiction: sedentarism. Now, this isn't just about being lazy. It's anytime you're awake, but you're expending almost zero energy. And just think about it for a second. Our modern world, our jobs, how we get around, even our entertainment, it's all practically designed to keep us right in this state. And here is the actual physical price of all that comfort. Research shows that for every single hour you spend sitting beyond 7 hours a day, your risk of dying from any cause goes up by 5%. This isn't some far-off possibility, right? This is a real, measurable risk to your life, and it's built right into your daily routine.
And you know what? That physical stagnation is a perfect mirror for what's happening in our heads. We make a choice. As the book Beating the Comfort Trap points out, we choose to stay in the minor discomfort of being stuck because we're terrified of the maximum discomfort that's required to actually change. It's choosing that familiar low-grade ache of stagnation over the sharp but temporary pain of real growth.
Okay, this next part, this is probably the most challenging idea we're going to talk about today. Section 2, the price of growth. And the subtitle says everything you need to know: why your current identity must die. See, this is where it gets real, because true change isn't about adding a few new habits. It's about demolition. Dr. Miles Monroe puts it this way, and man, this is a powerful statement. There is a violence required, a forcing, a breaking, a death, and most of you are not willing to pay that price. Now, he's not talking about physical violence, of course. He's talking about the internal violence of destroying the old you, the you that's comfortable, the you that's just fine, to make room for something new to be born. Think about it like this. The caterpillar, that's your old self. It's comfortable, sure. It's stagnant, but it's known. It feels safe. But to become the butterfly, to be transformed and to grow, it has to go through a state of total destruction inside that chrysalis. The old self doesn't just get an upgrade. It is completely broken down and remade into something brand new, something totally unrecognizable. And check this out. Here's a philosophical twist from a really fascinating online discussion. The idea is that your self isn't this continuous, unbroken line. The person you were yesterday is just as gone as the person you were 10 years ago. So this whole idea of killing your old self, it's not just a cool metaphor. It's something that's literally happening every single moment. We're constantly being replaced by the next version of ourselves. The real question is, are you consciously directing that change, or are you just letting it happen to you? So if we accept that we're always changing, then we can actually grab the steering wheel, right? So how do we do it? That brings us to section 3, the mechanics of becoming, or you could call it the science of rebirth. How do you actually forge a new identity? On purpose. Well, there's this really cool psychological framework for it called identity shift theory. Basically, it's the idea that you can change how you see yourself by deliberately acting out the traits of the person you want to become. In other words, you start becoming the person you're pretending to be. Your actions don't just follow your identity, your actions can actively create it. So how do we engineer this shift? Dr. Monroe lays out a super practical roadmap. First up, identify the gap between who you are right now and who you know you need to become. Second, and this one is huge, stop announcing your plans. Talking about change gives you a little dopamine hit you haven't earned yet. Let the old you die quietly. Third, enter the discipline. You have to force the growth before you feel motivated. Motivation isn't the fuel, it's the reward. And finally, you have to build the structure. Willpower is going to run out. You need systems and non-negotiable routines that force you to show up as that new person day in and day out. So you go through all this pain, all this discipline. What's on the other side? Well, that brings us to our next section. Confidence is your receipt. And the subtitle here is everything. It's not a gift, it's a payment. See, most of us have this totally backwards. We sit around waiting to feel confident before we take action. But the truth is, confidence isn't a feeling you wait for. It's a skill you build. It's a muscle that you train through action. Confidence isn't a gift, it's a receipt you get after you've paid the price with exposure and with reps. It is literally the proof of purchase. You don't get a receipt and then decide to buy the item. No, you do the work. You put in the reps, you pay the price, and confidence is just the evidence that the transaction is complete.
So you want to earn that receipt? Here's how you do it. Act first. Worry about how you feel about it later. Start small to build momentum. Every tiny act of courage is like a deposit in your confidence bank. You have to see mistakes not as failures but as currency. It's the price you pay for getting valuable data. You accumulate a mountain of experiences until you have undeniable proof of what you're capable of. And finally, you practice exposure. You face your fears over and over until they have no power over you.
All right, we're coming to the end here, and this final point, this might be the most important one of all. Our final section, the final choice. Because one of the biggest anchors holding you in that comfort zone might not be inside you at all. It's about the company you keep. There's a stark warning about this. It says your mediocre friends will destroy your vision to justify their own lack of effort. Think about that. The people around you who are content with being fine will often, consciously or not, try to pull you back down. Your growth, your ambition, it shines a spotlight on their own stagnation, and that makes them uncomfortable. So it all comes down to a final, stark choice. Your comfort is hunting your potential. Your old habits are hunting your future. On the road to becoming who you're truly meant to be, there's only one rule: hunt or be hunted. The time for getting fine is over.